Hey, truth seekers. Today is December 16th, 2014. If you can see this little note here, you might write that date 12 16 14, December 16th, 2014. The numerology of today is 42 because 12 plus 16 plus 14 sums to 42. And with the number 42 in mind, it makes me think of the word new and also the events in Ferguson, Missouri. The word new has a simple English gematria of 42, 14 plus 5 plus 23. And out of this Ferguson Michael Brown incident, along with all the other racially charged police involved incidents that are overwhelming our mainstream media right now, there has been the emergence of something called the New Black Panther Party. Instead of talking about the new Black Panther Party, I just want to talk about the original Black Panther Party. I like to get to the root of things. So let's look at the gematria of Black Panther Party. Black sums to 11, Panther sums to 37, Party sums to 26. Add it all together, 74. So often coded into the doings of these people, ranging from Ice Bucket Challenge to Black Panther Party, to so much more, including our language. English has a simple English gematria of 74. The word gematria itself sums to 74. And think about our nation's birthday, 7/4, July 4th. Okay, so the Black Panther Party was established in the year 1966 or 66. So the same year the NFL was established with the first Super Bowl. Modern era of the NFL, you could say. You could also call attention to the fact that the Church of Satan was established in the year 66. The leader of this Black Panther Party went by the name Huey P. Newton. And just, if you didn't know that that was the leader of the Black Panther Party and I said the name Huey P. Newton, who would you guess that was? Who so often goes by three-part names with a middle initial? If you guys wonder why I go by Zachary K. Hubbard, I kind of do everything to mock these people a little bit. I also want people to notice how the things I'm doing are just like what they're doing. I don't normally go by Zachary K. Hubbard. Most people just call me Zach, honestly. Anyhow, Huey P. Newton. As it happens, he is the man credited with being the leader of the Black Panther Party, and when we look at his death in a second, I'll show you why he is just another face cover up a lie. He was born February 17th, 1942, the year 42. We're just talking about that. The numerology of this date, 2 plus 1 plus 7 plus 1 plus 9 plus 4 plus 2, sums to 26. Huey P. Newton died unexpectedly at the age of 47, the flip of 74. And if you've seen my post before, we've talked about how important 47 is. The duality was 74. The word beauty is 74. The word beast is 47. The word candy is 47. The word fruit is 74. The word judge is 47. The word jury is 74, and so on. But you see the duality. So Huey P. Newton dies at the age of 47. His name in simple English gematria, the one he goes by, sums to 166. And remember, the party's established in the year 66. The date he died on at the age of 47 is very curious. August 22nd, 1989. Add this date up digit for digit, it sums to 39. 39, another very important number in this study. The Old Testament is of 39 books. In New York, the United Nations is of 39 floors, 39 signers on the Declaration of Independence. With regards to New York, the abbreviation NY sums to 39. New York with Pythagorean gematria sums to 39, as does the word empire for Empire State. The date of establishment has a numerology of 39. James Madison was very much obsessed with the number 39. The name Madison sums to 39. This gematria. On and on. These numbers are not arbitrary. 26, the God number. 39, a number of much importance. And also the numerology of this date, 8/22/89. If you'd written it that way and added 8 plus 22 plus 89 sums to 119. Like the word or name Star of David in Simple English Gematria. Star of David, 11/9. Where do we associate these numbers, 11 and 9? I don't have to tell you, do I, Truth Seeker? All right, so moving on, in the history of the Black Panther Party, if I had to ask one, or if I took a survey of 1,000 people and I said, name one person associated with the Black Panther Party, I'm going to guess at least half of those people would say Fred Hampton. Fred Hampton was the leader of the Black Panther Party in Chicago, Illinois. The name Fred was Simple English Gematria, sums to 33. The name Hampton with Pythagorean Gematria sums to 33. So he has a 33 first and last name with Gematria decoding. A very much rarity unless you start talking about people in these types of positions who I would refer to as government agents. The word agent sums to 47. I should have mentioned agent's a 47 word. So Fred Hampton, he has this 33 name. He's high school class of 66. Remember, the Black Panther Party began in 66. So imagine being a high school senior. If you were a black male in the year 66, about to graduate, and this was new, it would make sense that you would have a lot of interest in this. That's a logical connection, especially in Chicago. Had just been nearby Detroit that had race riots. Chicago and Detroit are very close to each other, if you're not aware. So after Fred Hampton graduated from high school, he went to Triton Junior College. Triton happens to have the gematria of 33 with Pythagorean gematria, just like the name Hampton. So he went to this 33 junior college and then dropped out and became what he was in the Black Panther Party. What he's most known for, or what his legacy has become, is the way he died. He was murdered December 4th, 1969. This is a date with a numerology of 32 and 85 with these two methods. So instead of 39,119, this date has 32 and 85. If you're not aware of my videos, the number 32, the word America equals 32, the abbreviation U plus K is 32, the Declaration of Independence has a numerology of 32, the word average equals 32, the word college equals 32, the word career equals 32. I just call it a very American number. To me, it's the number of America, 32. 85, that's a number with a numerology. 8 plus 5 becomes 13. 1 plus 3 becomes 4. So it's a number in numerology having to do with foundation. And his death has been used over and over to influence minds such as mine about what's been going on in this country. The way his story was always presented and understood as I was growing up, because I cared about this Fred Hampton story. I was someone out for justice, and I saw the racial inequality and everything going on in this country. I mean, there's no doubt that this stuff exists. But to find out that this might all be part of a manipulation is quite disappointing. So anyhow, growing up, I always learned that Fred Hampton's death was an outright injustice, racially motivated, proving that within our own government there are very racist elements that get away with wrongdoing. And I think that message is in most people's minds who know the story of Fred Hampton. And then you have to ask yourself, what does it do to us psychologically, knowing this stuff? Knowing this story's out there about Fred Hampton. If you guys haven't heard the story, Fred Hampton was murdered in his sleep in his apartment by the FBI. It's not a conspiracy theory. It's the story, and it's one that's just accepted, and it essentially shows, at least to me, it just shows that injustice can stand. At the time this happened, J. Edgar Hoover was in charge of the FBI, which was established on March 22nd. He took over as head of it the very next day, and he remained in power until he died at the age of 77. J. Edgar Hoover. Anyway, he made the comment that the Black Panther Party was the most dangerous thing to the United States of America at the time. So imagine in mainstream media, you're hearing the head of the FBI tell the whole nation that this is the most dangerous thing to the United States of America. In that, you can understand that in a way this is very much fear-mongering. You have to think about what the country was at this time. A much wider nation, a one where the values taught for so long, mainstream values, had been essentially that white people were better than black people. So many white people were already thinking these types of things and already had all these fearful ideas about black people from what had been taught to them. So now imagine this. You have this party coming to power led by black men and women, black women in the Black Panther movement. And you have your mainstream media and government telling you how dangerous of a threat it is to the nation. So in this regard, we can see why the government would create something such as the Black Panther Party and use it for the fear-mongering. It's just like how we learn about how Al-Qaeda was once upon a time funded by our own CIA to resist Russia. And then look how it's used years later. Once the Russia fear-mongering's over, then they actually just use the agent they created to do the deliberate fear-mongering. Remember, Al-Qaeda is accused of the attacks of September 11th, 2001. So from Al-Qaeda to Black Panther Party, it's the same tactics. Back on the topic of Fred Hampton, he died at the age of 21. It should be noted that Illinois is the 21st state where he was the leader of the Black Panther Party. He died in Cook County. Cook has the gematria of 44, just like the word kill. Cook and kill equal 44. And now think about Barack Hussein Obama, the 44th president, coming from Illinois. Also, I wanted to make a point that out of all the decades, the only decade with a gematria of 33 is 60s. Just like the only color with a gematria of 33 is orange. The day he died on, Fred Hampton, December 4th, 1969, that's the 338th day of the year. That number just, it looks interesting to me. It has a 33 and a 38 in it. The word death sums to 38. Tupac and Notorious B.I.G. both died on dates with numerology of 38. Also, this date's under the sign of Sagittarius. It's the only sign with a simple English gematria of 144. The phrase mark of the beast equals 144 in simple English gematria. And anyway, True Seeker, I mean, that's pretty much the extent of the message. I hope that was clear. What I'm trying to say is, to summarize, is our government is creating entities that they want to use in a certain way to create a certain type of consciousness within us, the general public. And that consciousness has to do with fear and misunderstanding and misguidance and ignorance. And it's all based on lies and deceit. It's just a tragedy, you guys. I mean, think about this. This is what our tax dollars are really going to. An ongoing manipulation to keep us on a conveyor belt of control. And what they know through years and years of practice and doing this to people is that fear is the best mechanism for control. So we have to wake up, we have to unite, we have to stop dividing over the same things over and over and over again. Anybody fooled by this new Black Panther Party movement? I don't really think anybody is fooled by this, honestly, Truth Seekers. Maybe some people are, but I don't know. I from the majority of people I've talked to of all races, it seems like a lot of people are aware that it seems like our media is truly building for an unnecessary race war. I think they're doing a poor job overall at what they're trying to achieve right now, which in a way is a positive thing for us. We want them to fail at what they're doing, but we want them to fail even worse. We want it to fail so hard that there is no more of this. We need to shut all this down, people. Imagine a world where if our tax dollars actually went to, say, building community. Here in Seattle, where I live, It's the most segregated city I've ever been in. If you guys didn't know this, Seattle might be the most segregated city in the United States of America today. South Seattle is almost entirely minorities, and it's impoverished, most of it. I used to teach in South Seattle. I had a classroom, a very diverse classroom. That neighborhood right now is actually considered the most diverse neighborhood in the entire United States, South Seattle. In my classroom, I think there was 24 different languages spoken. So it's not just poor Americans there. There's lots of poor refugee families and immigrant families in South Seattle. But anyhow, the city's just completely segregated, and it goes back to when Seattle had busing and trying to integrate schools. If you come to Seattle, you'll see that north of Dearborn Street is where the city is and where the majority of the wealthy and white population lives. And if you go south of that, you'll see it's just completely segregated. It's amazing to think it's 2014. Seattle's presented as this liberal, forward, progressive city, but in truth, it's just an archaic piece of the past. And Seattle's also a good example of everything that's wrong with liberalism. Honestly, you hear all this good stuff about Seattle, but then you come here and you see it's really just a disaster. They have horrible public transportation. They're way behind. Taxes are through the roof. There's not a lot to show for it. The city's segregated. And, most liberals are people, I think, that have their heart in the right place, but are blind to the realities of the day, and they just follow their ideals and what they want to delude themselves with in their head. And I think Seattle's just a shining example of that. You come up here, so many people think it's a great city, but honestly, to me, it's just an embarrassment. And if it wasn't such a beautiful terrain, I definitely would not live here. So, anyhow, truth seekers, just wanted to talk about this and then ramble on as I just did about race and all that in this country. We need to stop being so politically correct and idealistic and just start being more real and see what's really going on. All right. Until next time, truth seekers.